G'day and welcome back to my SuperCoach YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going through the Essendon Bombers and their list for the SuperCoach season in 2026. And they're a very big team for me, team of note, as here are like just a couple players to watch. Like I've got near enough to like 8, which is probably the most I'll have. So yes, there's some interesting things here to look at. And we'll crack into it straight away with their fixture, though. So as we can see, round 1 they host Hawthorn at the MCG. Round 2 they play Port Adelaide in Adelaide. They host North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Round 3 they play Bulldogs away at Marvel. Round 4, and then they host, quote unquote, host Melbourne at Adelaide Oval in round 5 together round, and then they play Gold Coast away come round 6. Not special, but not disastrous either. Definitely one where if you can maybe move in a couple of players. Not a great run, but not terrible either. And their double ups this year are Hawthorn, GWS, and Melbourne, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, and Brisbane. So you're looking to target those probably North Melbourne and even Melbourne games. But other than that, yeah, you've got Port, Brisbane, GWS, Hawthorn, all pretty solid teams. So yeah, that's that. Really, their bye weeks are as obviously opening round, so they don't have the early bye, and then round 15 when they head into a North Melbourne St Kilda run, which isn't terrible. But yes, we will continue going on here with Essendon and the highest averaging players of last season. So Zach Merritt was comfortably the highest averaging player, averaging 107.7 across 22 games. As you would expect from the number 1 midfielder. Jai Caldwell averaged 100.7 in 11 games. Nick Martin 97.8 in 16 games. However, Nick Martin is out for the season due to majority of the season at least. I believe he did redo it though. Um, he slipped at training. Had successful knee surgery. Um, hmm. Scares everyone has suffered further damage to his reconstructed knee. Yeah, so it's not ideal for him or Essendon. Braden Ferrini coming across from Gold Coast, 95.2 average, which is pretty good. And then Mason Medvin, 95 on the nose, and a half back. Definitely interesting. Definitely watchful of it. Indeed. But yes, we'll continue on here. There's not much really. Like you've got a new recruit, a mid 40 played everywhere, 2 inside mids and a half back. Sort of pretty standard. In terms of rookies now, rookie watch. This is sort of my favorite thing to do. I like watching because if you hit on these rookies, as we know, it's so important to. The first one I'm interested in is Vigo Vizentini, and this is a lot. This will decide. Like it depends on Nick Bryan, right? But Vigo at 181.8, average 56 last season. Obviously didn't like the set the world right, but um, if he's number 1 rock ahead of Brian and Brian will come in and be number 1 rock. But if he's head number 1 rock ahead of Blackiston, I don't hate the pick at all. It's just a question of can he be that number 1 rock because he is pretty young still. He is not body probably isn't developed as yet. Still 20 years old. But as you can see in the 2 games that he was, and he only had 57 dog in this one too. Yeah, he played this. He got mauled by Luke Jackson, yet was still able to score a 71, which is really, really good. Definitely one to watch, I think. Just a great man, Vigo. And then the other 3 are just their draftees that they've got in Roby, Farrow, and Sharp. I'm a fan of all 3. I've had all 3 in my team. Roby mid forward, really good for the Eastern Rangers. Was a bit of a bolt as is probably um pretty well in the media, you may have heard. But yeah, like you can sort of see just like very, very good games. All game here, but 89 average, 90 average in fantasy. Obviously, you don't expect that because he's sorry man, at AFL level, but reportedly playing with half forward, which is interesting. And Barrow opposite playing with half back as drafted as a mid four as a mid defender type was reported the apparently going to play off half back, which will be interesting. There was listed middle 3 games on the team sheet for West Perth. Definitely one to watch. And my favourite one out of them all was Stephen Sharp. I don't think the numbers really suggest it as of yet, but looking at him, like, you look at his averages 61, 92. Like this man, like he didn't play great for Central, but um, Central Blue, but he did like definitely one I really liked, and I think I'd be comfortable fielding Dyson Sharp. We'll touch on more of them soon. Let's talk about the CBAs for Essendon here of last season. Definitely an interesting one because it was Merritt that was the main man, simply put. As we could, yeah, like you can say Caldwell, but it was Merritt because of Caldwell's injury. And a mixture of Caldwell, Setterfield, Parrish, and Durham. Setterfield, I believe, did get re-signed. Well, got delisted, then re-signed. Um, just to note, McGrath back end CBA is really, really good, and that was with no Setterfield, no Parrish. So if you think if we can keep this up, definitely one to keep an eye out for. I think that's 128 CBAs, by the way. I don't know what that is about. But yes, that is sort of it, really, in terms of their CBAs. Obviously, Zach Merritt's the number one mid. Had these 2 games where he played off half back, and as an owner, I was annoyed. Jai Caldwell missed a fair chunk of footy, which is probably good for, like, in terms of Supercoach passing, not good for Essendon or himself. I really like him as a pick this year. I had him in my team because I really like this. He's a bit of a pod play. You've got to sort of have a pod really to do well. I think you can't just be. You can lose the season. You can't win the season with your opening team, but you can lose it. And I think that like you're allowed to have pods, but like I think he's got to be someone who's pretty safe. And maybe my pod, like Wayne Miller as my pod last season to open up, which was definitely something. Definitely was. We'll move into kick ins now, and this will when this comes up, Essendon. It's only one man that was Mason Redmond. A lot of kick outs, kick ins, like a lot. And even with McGrath going, it was really only a bump to Roberts. Like, yeah, you can see he sort of exploded, but also no Ridley, which helps. But yeah, Roberts got a bit of a bump. But yeah, it was Mason Redmond, and that's really it. Maybe Farrow comes in and slots in and takes these McGrath kickouts, which wouldn't be a bad thing because I think Farrow would be actually a pretty good selection. But yeah, it was funny. It was always Merritt number one, not Merritt number one. Jeez, Redmond number one. You can see Merritt in the few games he did play back, but he was the kick out person. Without Redmond, there doesn't seem to be much jump. Like Zach Johnson got a couple, You see Jackson Pryor got a couple more than what he usually would. But yeah, there's not much really to note on kickouts for Essendon kick-ins. It's Mason Redmond or bust, really. Talk about players to watch, and we'll kick off with their captain who wanted to leave, Zach Merritt. It'll be interesting to see how they go about it, because obviously you want to be good, right? If you're Essendon, like you want to try and be successful, but you've also got to try, I think, and bleed youth into this young group. However, and I think it starts with Zach Merritt. So this is simply put, he is a 110 guy. 115, 116, 112, 114, 115. Like, this is his lowest score, like lowest averages since 2019 in terms of Supercoach. Throughout the 2020s, he has been 110 above, and this is the only year he hasn't. Yeah, his max of 172 is the best he's ever had. It's like going to be a great pick because he's their best player. He's the best player by a mile. What it is can he get rid of these type of games? Because he is prone to that's a bad month for a premium. 91.5. We got this bit year too, 91.3. Like, he has those bad spots. And I mean, I say that he obviously has great games. A 172 against North Melbourne, a 145 against Adelaide, where he had 36 and kicked 4, and only got the one ballot rate. That's insane. And 159 against Gold Coast. Like, he can score very, very well. But because he's their best player by a country mile, he gets tagged. 1, 2, 3, 4 tagged. He dropped a 124 on Melbourne's tag up. Tagged that down to an 88.7. He gets tagged, and I think with him being the number one option, he's not one I'm considering as such. But I think if you want a pod premium, because he's still at like his premium price, and I mean, fair enough. But he's at what, 583? I think Sarong's about there too. If you wanted a pod premium, I think he's your guy. I don't see him scoring poorly. I think against Hawthorn, he'll want to prove his worth a bit more too. He doesn't average great against Hawthorn, to be fair, but that is something. We take a look here, actually. We'll just go to Hawthorn. Yeah, historically, sort of last few years hasn't actually scored well against them. So, um, that's that. Next one is my man, Jai Caldwell. I'm huge on this guy. I've got big raps for him. Um, I think we could expect a George Stewart leap from him. George Stewart just came, sort of not out of nowhere, but he averaged like 100, then like 110, 112. And the big thing is, you look at these last games here, where prior to this injury game, mind you, we still scored 96 in 72% told. 5 games, 116. And it's not like the scores are just consistent. He has a 102 and a 102 as his floor and a 125 as his ceiling. Now I don't think he has the ceiling scores like most. I think his ceiling is going to be around this sort of 140 mark. But this man can produce his points per minute are great. 1.02, 1.31, 1.16, 1.01, 1.29, 1.31. Has a 0.51 here in 65% talk, which seems a bit low from him. And he has a 0.74 here, where 68% talk seems a bit low. 0.92 in 77% talk. 0.12, like this man, 0.125, 1.25, and 1.31. This man has really, really good points per minute. Last 2 seasons have been above 1, which is really good. And that's sort of what you see from premiums. You don't see that from your, like, these type of players. Like we know, like I really like him, and I just think that like this is the type of stuff he can produce too. We've seen it. Like this is on like 70-ish CBAs, 110 average. I like it. I think he's a top. I think he's a top three mid at Essendon at worst next year. I think it's Merritt, Coldwell with a mixture then of Parrish, Durham, and maybe a Dyson Sharp. Another person I want to speak about is McGrath. If I touch on I won't speak on McGrath too much because I do think him playing midfield at back in the season won't hold. Um, but with that said, when he did, it's good numbers. It's pretty good numbers. What 105, 101, like that's good numbers. Good CVAs, no kickouts, no nothing. I like it. Tackles pretty well. That doesn't take a whole heap of marks. But can find a bit of pill, like, you got 20 touches there, 30, 35, 23. Like he's not, he's one of those picks there I think he's very, if he's to your liking and come preseason he's playing midfield, sure. But one I'm not really buying into, I don't think. Like, because he's like, look at this start to the year, 65.6, and that's playing off halfback, which is an issue. Another Essendon cheat, mid-price of backman, Jordan Ridley, and simply put, it is this man has gone 102. This man's gone multiple years above 100. Yet he's at 77.4. We know what this man can do. We know what he can produce. If we take out his injury games last season, he's a 97 average on a year. Good marks, good by foot. Not a whole lot I'm really asking much else of him for. He is a bit injury prone, which is an issue. As we can sort of see here, maybe 10 games, 9 games last 2 years. Less than ideal. However, if you're into, if you think Ridley's going to be good, he's 27, he's sort of reaching his peak. It's not a bad pick. One to consider is at a price point of, it's low 400s from memory. 418, yeah. Definitely one I think you have to consider. And speaking of like mid-pricey, we got Darcy Parish. And I could talk about him all day and say, oh, he's a great pick, or he's injury prone, or he's all that. And that's what he is, right? This man has gone 110, let's say 3 times, right? He's gone 110 3 times. And he stayed fit all 3 of those years. Last year, he played 3 games, averaged 88. Can you go there? This is the question. He dominated, he played against Freo, had most CBAs that week too. He should be around about a 65 guy too. In his best seasons, he was going at about 80s. Him, Merritt, Caldwell, that midfield. But like this is insane. Like look at this. Like this is obviously 2021, so this is a lot. This is 5 years ago. But look at that 10-game stretch. 140. Ridiculous. You can't just ignore the history backing of it though. I think you just sometimes gotta respect it. Whether you like him or not, obviously up to you. I like the pick. I actually do. I don't like how injured it gets. Though, like we sort of said, Hawthorn, Port Adelaide, North Melbourne, Bulldogs, Melbourne, Gold Coast. Not an overly terrible opening sort of run. Or I might buy into Parish. We'll see. Um, Another guy I want to touch on is Blackerson. If he gets to the single rock roll, he should be good. Like, he drafted mid-season, came in and played back line. If you look at games where he's getting half decent ruck contest CBAs, even average is 63.5, which is above what he's priced at. Which, you take that into consideration, it's 10 points. But if it's a solo ruck, most solo rucks average 70. So you're getting value there. What, like, obviously one, it has to fancy if you pick him. You're not just gonna pick him because you can. Like, you've gotta like the pick. One to consider, but if you're not into the pick, it's all good. And the last three players were Roby, Sharp, and Farrow. Simply put, if Roby can play that half forward role, play like a Dylan Moore, Brian Myers, push up into the stoppage, and sort of be that link between the midfield to forward line, could go like at a 70, which is great. But he's also first year, but like this is the type of stuff he can do. Like 27 and 2, 40 and 3. This man can kick goals. Farrow, obviously these three are watched though. Like Farrow, where's he play? Sharp, Sharp's an inside mid. You'll see it on his um, like I really like Dyson Sharp. Contested please will score well through there, as we know. A ready-made consistent midfielder approximately unrivaled contested ball winning acumen. Like that's elite. 80% efficiency from 27 touches. Yeah, very good. Yes, that is that. I don't know if I stood out. That is that. For Essendon, I think you've got to look at a couple of rookies, a couple of mid-prices, and a primo. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video where we do Fremantle, I believe. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.